Welcome to PaddyCast. On this week's episode, we have Big John Walters. Uh, thanks for coming on the PaddyCast, John. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, just been locked away in my house for the past 2 weeks with myself on there. I'm okay. To be fair, no, I'm good. I'm smashing the gym every day, so I'm in a good mood.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I wish I was hitting the gym as well, but unfortunately, I'm working from home, so not for me. No, sir. With this, sure. Tell me. I want to know about your early sporting career. How are you getting into football, and how it led you to where you got to at the end of your career.
So I was just to live a place on the Wirral. My mum was from Dublin, my dad was from Liverpool, and we moved to the Wirral because my mum was a nurse. And we lived in a place called Morton on the Wirral, and we lived around a football field. We had a pavilion on football pitches, and I was just to older brothers. We were non-stop every day, and I played for the little team. We were rubbish. We used to get beat every week. It was the best time playing with mates. I don't know, when I was 13, I went to a better team, and we didn't get beat for 3 or 4 years. And it wasn't until I was 16, 15, 16, I got picked up by Blackburn and went to Blackburn. So that's late nowadays.
Yeah.
Normally it's kids are 8, 9, 10. And so I got picked up at last year of school it was. So
yeah,
I went to Blackburn and then just took off from there. Yeah, it was and then a roller coaster ride from Blackburn. Really, from that point in.
Yeah, tell me, you played for some great English sides, and obviously in 2010, I think it was, you broke onto the Republic team.
Yeah.
You've been to the European Championships and that. What was it like representing Ireland at the Euros? Like, what was the experience like?
It was. I'll go back to Blackburn. So when I went to Blackburn, actually, I always wanted to be a player, but it wasn't until I went into Blackburn and one of my uncles knew Brian Kerr.
Yeah.
They asked me around that age. I think it was a top scorer in academy for my age group, under 17s. Got to the Youth Cup final, got beat by Arsenal in the Youth Cup final. Got asked if I'd play for Ireland because just my uncle knew. I think it was Brian, and it sort of got asked through there. I always said yeah. I always said look, because of my mum. My mum passed away when I was very young. I always said, you know, every day we went in school when I was younger, we were over in Ireland.
Yeah.
And always, it's like home for me. Every time we go over, it's like being home. There's nothing like it. So I always said from a very young age, and I was very stupid at Blackburn. I won't go into it now, but I left in the end, and I went for Bolton. I went down the leagues. So at Bolton, when I was at Bolton, an under 21 match, and Don Givens was the manager, and we beat them 2-1, and I scored 2 goals. I never got called up again. And it was odd. And then there was an under-20 World Cup, I think there was, in United Arab Emirates. Don't know exactly where it was.
Yeah.
And I went on loan to Hull, and we had England under 21 manager Peter Taylor at the time. I came back, and I think we told Sam Allardyce I was going to go, and I came back, and Sam Allardyce went mad. And Peter Taylor, I ended up signing for Hull, and I went back, and Peter Taylor thought I was going to go away with them. And he was saying, and the way it worked out, he thought I wasn't committed. I got told I wasn't committed enough. And I was injured, basically. I couldn't come, I was injured. I've been on loan at a couple of clubs, and every time he called me up, one time I had an abscess, he didn't sleep for a week, could not go, and literally had to get I had 2 canals, didn't work, I got the 2 pulled out. And then another time, I think I ruptured my ankle ligaments, couldn't go. And he called me up, and my wife was pregnant, and we knew our first daughter was going to have problems. And all the lads got promoted at Hull. And I said, look, I've got this tournament coming up with Ireland. I don't want to go because we're just going to be on the piss for a week, basically. And I don't want to go there. I want to come back and take my wife away. We knew we were going to have problems with my first child when she's born. We knew what was going to happen. And I went away to, I don't know where, somewhere in the Canary Islands, and Don Gibbons rang me up when I was out there and said, how are you? And said, I'm not committed to me. I'm not picking you. And I was like pleading with him on the phone. I was a kid. And I was like, what? I don't understand. I've not come away. There's nowhere for me to train. But most of the lads just academy, so there was places for me to train, but there wasn't for me because our league had finished. We'd been promoted. He had an all expenses paid trip to Marbella that didn't go on, and I went to a hotel where I was in the gym every day. So I came back, and Peter Taylor went mad at that as well. Said nothing to do with where you are. Blah blah. In the end, that was it. Didn't hear anything for years. And then I went down the leagues, Wrexham, Chester, and then signed for Ipswich, and was doing well at Ipswich and played an Island B match. Myself and Alex Bruce at the time drove up to Scotland to play Scotland in a B match, and then I think I had a couple of years at Ipswich, and then when I went to Stoke, I got called up. Capitone was the manager, was doing really well in the Premier League, and got called up, but it was still the same that was years ago. Wasn't that I suddenly improved massively. I was still the same player I was at Ipswich. It was just like you were in a Premier League club, doing well, and then from then, every time I met up with Ireland, I always found not easier, but I was always a lot more comfortable and felt better playing international level with Ireland. Just felt it just came naturally to me. I felt really good, and like to go away and qualify near enough straight away when I've been involved. Played in Estonia the second leg, scored in the second leg, and qualified for the first Euros, which was a disaster, wasn't it? 2012 in Poland, and then 2016 qualified again, and then near enough tore most of my Achilles just before, a few weeks before, but I ended up playing some part of it, albeit limping round. But it's an unbelievable experience, and one thing I do miss out of everything is the Ireland matches. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, the Ireland matches are great. You know, I've only been to a few around them road, but I've actually seen you play yourself. But the atmosphere is just incredible. So it is, and that's why I want to know how you felt on the pitch when you play, like not the qualifying games, but just a regular home game.
Any game, doesn't matter what one. As I said, as soon as it came over, as soon as it came back, felt like home. It was brilliant. I'm very good at switching off and things. So as soon as it came into the camp, I'd switch off and don't forget about your family, but you've got to go into the zone. And the lads are great, brilliant. All the staff there were brilliant. All the doctors, masseurs, physios, security staff. It was a big family. And that's one thing you do miss. So that when you go on that, and then you're going into games, and everyone has a right frame of mind, and everyone's pulling the same direction, and everywhere you go in Ireland, it's brilliant. There's nothing like it. So then to represent everyone playing, it's unbelievable. Every single game. You know, sometimes it would be a bit towards the end, the atmosphere. You'd have to get it going a little bit. You know, as a player on the pitch, as an older player on the pitch, I knew you had to get the fans going. Time the way in a match, but it was unbelievable. Yeah, every single game there's nothing like it.
You tell me this. What do you think about Mick McCarthy leaving as the Republic manager?
Well, when I went on loan to Ipswich, when I went there, I near enough ruptured my Achilles straight away, and I spoke to him. I think I told him, one of the first people, look, I'm not really coming back from this.
Yeah.
I'd never met him before. I'd never met him before, and I couldn't speak highly of him enough. He was like, come in, see the lads, see everyone, you're welcome, whatever you want. And he was absolutely brilliant. And the way it worked out towards the end of the last managerial setup, it wasn't toxic, but it wasn't like it was a few years previously. And the fans weren't the same, because I'd done a couple of games for Sky, and the atmosphere was completely different. And you could feel like it building up. When Mick came, to have the same sort of group of lads and sort of turn it around, and he was a safe pair of hands for me. And you can say some of the teams he faced weren't great, but he's had a good record since he's come back in. It took us to the verge of qualifying again, and it's sad that he didn't see it through, because of how it's happened. But I think he knew the situation when he came in, the circumstances, and I think he's came out and done an interview, and he's like, it is what it is, get on with it, not really. But one thing you can say is all the lads loved him, all the staff absolutely loved him as well. Yeah, absolutely loved him, yeah.
They have a new boss, Stephen Kenny. He's never managed like internationally. How do you think he will do the job?
Well, he had the 21s for a little while, hasn't he? And he's had the sort of League of Ireland teams as well. But the 21s have done particularly well. And that was already set up. It was a very funny situation, wasn't it? Like, you're going to come and take over in 2 years or in a year. It was just weird the way it was set up. But I just look at it as a positive way. That what you got to look at it is he's coming in, and he knows a lot of the young lads as well from the 21s, and there's a lot of talent in there as well, like Troy Parrott and there's 4, 5, 6 maybe that are doing really well, and some playing in the Premier League now as well, getting a few games here and there. So if you can then integrate them because you know them already, and they feel comfortable playing for a manager, and you've got a good group of lads anyway, because all the lads are welcome, and there's no egos in the Ireland team, will be in the international teams. So he'll come in, and you won't have that long to work with the team. He'll put his own stamp on it. He'll say how he wants to play, but you don't have that long. So it's a lot of it's down to the lads as well. A lot of it's down to the characters and how you set them up and how you want to play. But hopefully we're going to see a good brand of football. But ultimately we're going to qualify. That's what we're hoping.
You mentioned Troy Parrott. There's a lot being said about him. Apparently he's very, very good. Do you see a big future for him?
A lot of people speak very highly of him. He's got everything there to go and do well. You're hoping he's going to break into the Spurs team at some point. It's so difficult to get into any Premier League team as a young lad. You have to go on loan. And I think Mick criticised him, or someone criticised him for signing a contract, and it was like, you can't expect a young lad not to sign a contract and go on loan. It's like, it's there for him.
Yeah.
He wants to break, and fair play, he's stuck in trying to break into the team. So maybe this little break's done well, because he's going to be that little bit older when he comes back as well. But as easy as he can have everything on his plate for him, I can just as easy go to players' heads.
Yeah. And
it could have the opposite effect, because everyone's talking him up so well. I don't know him personally, so everyone's talking him up so well. So you could have that effect where you've seen plenty of young, thousands, hundreds of thousands of young lads that have the talents, that get to a certain point and think they've done it, and then they suddenly go downhill. But hopefully he'll have the right people about him. He'll have the right ground and the right family, right friends around, and that'll keep his feet on the ground. And that's what you're hoping. And hopefully nowadays, I say, once he gets involved in the senior team, he'll have good lads around him anyway.
Yeah. So tell me, I want to know about, what would you say would be your sporting peak and this pit of your career? So you probably start with the worst moment and work your way up to the best moment.
The worst one, On a pitch, you mean stuff that's happening on a pitch, or just? Because to be fair, there's different things. I've done very silly things when I was younger. Then, and my daughter was very ill at one point, and that affected my football because it wasn't that. That was a low point in my life, and there's different things that you think affected. But on the pitch, everyone knows this one. I scored 2 own goals, didn't I? Scored 2 own goals. Missed the penalty, but I also kicked the ball in my own face in the same game as well. No, but when I was played with like old Ben Thatcher at Ipswich, and he gave a great bit of advice. He always said, never be too high and never be too low. Always stay steady. Never be up there, never be down there. Always stay just in the middle. And he's spot on because, you know, when you're going through that, you've got to have thick skin. So when you have it, it really didn't bother me. Like that there, when I say it's my lowest point, it's probably what everyone thinks my lowest point. But I went home and the kids put Match of the Day on, and the missus put Match of the Day on, and just started laughing at me. I can't do anything. You just laugh with it, don't you? So immediately I'm over it. And I think we played a game in the week against Crystal Palace and scored 2. I was immediately over it. So that was great. And then the highs have got to be. I've got to be the Ireland games for me. It's got to be probably. You look at the Bosnia one, where we qualified. I missed the first leg. I was suspended. I came over to Dublin. The lads flew away to Bosnia. When Robbie Brady scored in the fog. I was suspended, but I was ill as well. Yeah. With some sort of bug, and I was sweating out in the hotel on my own. I felt horrendous till about 2 days before the game. I was so glad I didn't get to play in the first game because it completely would have wiped me out. Yeah. So I was sort of not fresh, but I hadn't played in the first game, came to the second leg and to win 2-0 and score the 2 goals with all my family there. That was, for me, like all my family always came to the matches anyway. I'd always get like quite a lot of tickets. So I'll be buying all sorts of tickets off all the lads, as many as I could. But there was everyone there, and I got a box from my wife and the kids, a couple of friends with their kids, and all my mum's sisters, cousins, and my mum was one of 11, so there was a lot of people. Yeah. And then to score 2, qualify, yeah, that was my highest moment. But it wasn't. It's funny because sometimes when things like that happen, all the lads would have been out all night. You go and go and have a wild. It's unbelievable. And I was like, it was one of those nights where it's just serene. I just sort of took it in, quiet moments to myself, stayed with the kids, and it was brilliant. Brilliant, best feeling ever.
Brilliant. Here, who would you say is the best manager you've played under?
So I get asked this a lot, and my answer to it is, I can't always try and play, say, under Tony Pugh and Mark Hughes at Stoke, and Trapattoni, Martin O'Neill. I'd say to go through all the managers I had my youth team coaches that I still speak to at Blackburn. I had Sam Allardyce at Bolton. I had Peter Taylor, who gave Beckham and he's a good manager in himself. Then I went and had a guy called Dennis Smith at Wrexham, Mark Wright, the old Liverpool centre-half at Chester. Then Jim Magilton at Ipswich, who was brilliant. Yeah, it was brilliant. He enjoyed playing. Like, talk of him getting Northern Ireland job now, and I'll snap him up. We loved it. We loved playing for him. He played some good football. Yeah. And he gave me the chance to go back in Ipswich as well. So I had him, and then I had Roy Keane, then Tony Pulis, Mark Hughes, Sean Dyche, Trapattoni, and Martin O'Neill. So, like, the managers are brilliant that I've had, and I'll say I can never name one. I just pick little bits from each one. Like, I was never one. I loved the way he did. I loved the little bits from different ones.
Yeah, it's okay. If you want to pick Martin O'Neill, go ahead.
Fair, Mark. to be fair, Martin was the first part of the setup. Because I used to go over and a lot of the time my knee was in bits. A lot of the time, for the past few years, I was always struggling with it. I used to got bone on bone in there on my knee. Got 5 cartilage trims, and you have to manage how you train. I train every day, not a problem.
Yeah.
But every day, I'm in about 3 weeks' time, and that wouldn't go away for a long time then. So be sensible not to train every day, but not being on the pitch doesn't mean I'm working exercise in the gym, doing the ski machine or squats or just building other parts. So he was brilliant. He said, like, I don't know what you do in the week, so you can play for me when the time's right. And it was brilliant. And then what changed towards the end? Like what happened with Roy the second round, and that was all to do with it. And it sort of changed, but to begin with, it was brilliant. He used to do a Villa with a few players that wouldn't train twice. Any have trained 3 times, any have played 2 games a week, and as long as you can let players manage themselves, that's brilliant. And managers that can put trust in you like that, they're the ones that I love playing for.
Brilliant. See, when you're playing like for different teams, and obviously you're traveling around the country, how are you able to like mix your sporting life with your personal life?
When I was young, Mum, I can't be. I can just go. I'm completely about it. So and go to mode, and you know, you just in football mode. But I think towards the end, when I wasn't playing as much, you didn't that release again. So you train a week or do gym a week, and you wouldn't go. And I liked it. And I liked being and I found it more difficult near the end when you were training in the end. I didn't like being away from this and now I'm an introvert. When I like being at home, I like keeping myself to myself. I like my dogs and spending all the time with kids and being I've missed out on for years. So when you're playing, you're good at switching off, but towards the end, you know, I'll be away from them.
So, John, what's next for you? Now that you're retired, what are you doing to yourself now?
I went into for a bit of coaching. I was doing a bit, and I did my courses last year, and I don't know. It just wasn't. I don't know if it's a romance of it, of a player going back in, you want to still have that feelings, you want to be a manager, and I think to do that, I think you've got to sacrifice a lot. I think you've got to say to your family again, you got to push them to the side again. I think that's what you've got to do. And I've had that for 20 years. And I think as a player, you think you do a lot. As a manager, you are 27. You are non-stop. I know the coaches are, and managers take on a whole lot more than the coaches. And I was just away again from the kids all the time. I was leaving the house at 6 and getting back at 10. And I was only part-time. I was only doing a few days a week. And I just felt it wasn't fair on the kids. And my eldest has got to have an operation on her back. Well, with all this going on, it's been quashed for now, but she has to have an operation on her back soon. And I just think it's not fair on them for me to be away so much like that.
That's right.
So I'm taking a sporting CEO course in November. There's a guy I know that was a physio at Blackburn when he was younger. He set up one. A lot of managers have done the sporting director one. I think Mike O'Neill was on it. Manager of Stoke now, he's done it. And there was a sporting director one that I've got a few friends on, but I'm doing the sporting CEO one. I'm starting that in November. That's when it's next on, so I'm looking forward to that. And I don't know. My agent wants me to go and work with him and look after players, which appeals to me because I like looking after people as well. That's another thing I like doing. I like doing things the right way.
Yeah.
I don't like people getting taken advantage of. And as a player, I saw it all the time. I saw it with so many lads in every walk of life. And if I went into that way, if I went into that walk of life, I'd just want to after people. I wouldn't do it. I'm not interested in. Look, I made very good money as a player. I'm not interested in making money or anything like that. I'd just do it to literally stay involved in football and look after. But I don't know. We'll see. I've got different various things. I invest in property and things like that. And but at the moment, I'm really enjoying with the kids and being a part of their lives because you know as yourself when you're away, it's difficult and you miss a big chunk of your life. You miss it, and you miss a big chunk of theirs. And you've got to say to the wife who does everything. They're unbelievable what they do because they make the sacrifice just as much as you, and it's hard on them as well.
Yeah, it's true. Another thing, John, I must tell you, I've been asked to say sorry to you.
What for?
From Tony Bellew.
Why? Go on.
Because he says one day he went running and you're gonna shit in your driveway.
Yeah. Oh mate, that was oh my god. Oh, listen to this. Did you see the tweet? Did you see it? Oh god. Right, so he's big lad now. I don't know if he make it up the hill where I live, but it was a big one. It could be him.
Yeah.
So, do you know what happened, right? So where I live, we've got a field that goes down and it goes onto more farmers' fields, and we put a gate in the bottom of the field to get onto it's like a private road where there's one house on, one cottage on, sort of thing. So no one really goes down it. And the gate was all rotten, so I had a friend that put the gate on for me. As I was taking the dogs on to the wife, oh look, the gate that's been done. We don't have a look. It's just been done. And Pete just took the gate, so I went down. I'm with the dog. So she's about 10 months old. The dog. I've just got a new puppy as well, so we didn't have her yet. So the dog was with me, and Jo, my wife, has just gone, oh, and I haven't noticed the guy, and she's gone, you dead, yeah. And the guy, there's a guy squatting on the corner on the right, curling one out right next to the gate. I couldn't believe it. Right, so he pulled his shorts up and sprinted away. And bear in mind, I haven't done like a lot of running. I'm fit because I do the gym a lot.
Yeah.
But I do. I realised, like, it took me like a couple of seconds to realise where he's on, and he's gone. He's right. So you go around this gate and you're up a hill, a deep hill. Like a lot of people come on just to do hill runs. It's like a horrible hill. So we jumped over the gate, like put one hand on it, sprint, and go over. The wife shouting at me, no. I've sprinted around the corner and I'm like, he's sort of a third way up the hill. I've ran past an old couple on the end. They've seen it all. Like they're like shocked. A third way up the hill, and I'm sprinting after him. I think he's quick. Like he's a runner. He had like short shorts. He had the vest on. He had 2 drinking straws coming out of his vest, and he's a proper runner. So as I'm going up the hill, I'm catching him up, and I'm saying to him, catching you up, mate. You best just stop. Right? So I catch him near the top of the hill and grab him, like drag him, turn him round, and he's like, sorry, mate, sorry. I'm like, you dirty bastard. You dirty bastard. I said, go and clean up your... I was like shouting at him, and he's like, well, and he sort of tried to turn it on me. He's like, have you never been caught short? I was like, listen, mate, I don't care. Go and clean it up now. And he was going on for about 60 seconds, and he's not moving. So he's gone. So I've sort of grabbed him, and he said, that's assault. I said, assault, what are you going to do, ring the police and tell them you, like, on the gate, and I've caught you up. So I've gone, go down the hill, or I'm going to put your fucking head in. So I lost my head was gone. So a neighbour lives on the road, and she comes out because she heard all the noise, and she's like, "What's going on?" And then she starts hammering him as well, and he's asking for a bag. Can I clean it up? So I was like, "I'm not giving you anything, mate. I'm not giving you anything. Take your t-shirt off and clean it up." And it's still going on. This is still going on. And he's not arguing, but he's trying to give excuses why he's done it. I'm like, "I don't care, mate. Just go clean it up." Like, that's when the kids come out the bottom, the dogs come out. Like, "You're disgusting. Go and clean it up." So I marched him down to the bottom, and as he's doing it, I thought, "I'm going to get a photo of you doing it." Because if you just say, "I've got a photo of you," anything happens, I've got a photo of you. So I was taking a photo of him, and he's gone, "No, no, no." Grabbed my phone out of my hand and took my phone and like gone to go. So I had to catch him up again. I had to put him on the floor, take my phone off him, and then. But this is as he's picking the shit up as well. So he's got it in a bag, and so I've got a photo of him as well. And then I tweeted it. I was like, if he ever comes back, I'm going to put a photo of him up just to shame him. And then people were saying, "Never happened. You just made it up." I was like, "Trust me, I've got the photo of him and cleaning up the thing." But then, honestly, a few days ago, there was another one there. I'm not.
No way.
And I've lived here. Honestly, God, that could be Tony Bellew.
I think it was. Maybe it was Tony Bellew's one. You're right.
I'm gonna have to knock on his house, aren't I?
You have to. You're have to get back.
Honestly, I lived here for 10 years, and that's the first time it's ever happened. And a bit of a coincidence. It's twice in about a month. I'm not happy. So this guy's felt, "Oh, mate, I have to go up," you know.
Brilliant. Here we'll do the quick fire round, okay?
Yeah.
Right, so if you could choose a different sport, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Do you know what? Sport-wise, I don't like golf. I don't know if it's the patience. I never tried it.
Yeah.
I have tried it, sorry, but I've lost about 50 balls in one hole. I gave up. I don't like it. So I don't know if I don't like the individual ones. Rugby, it's physical. I wouldn't mind it. I think of sport. If it was another job or something, I'll have to be outside. Whatever I do, I have to be outside. I couldn't be stuck inside and doing it. Sport-wise, if anything, it'll have to be something very physical.
Yeah. Who would be your greatest rival?
Liverpool, I'd say. Liverpool FC.
Oh, because you're a blue,
Do
aren't you?
do you know why though? I grew up an Everton fan because my nan was. Like staunch. Her ashes are on Goodison Park. My dad was, my brother was, and he had the season ticket. I used to go with him, and I grew up an Everton fan. But as you got to play football, you don't watch them as much. And I was always an Everton fan. But then when I went to Stoke and I first played against Liverpool, it got known that I was an Everton fan. So I got abused and like constant abuse. So every time I played Liverpool, I got dogs abuse like constantly. But I have the best record against anyone against Liverpool, which is funny because everyone is before it around. But so the biggest rival, I'd say, would be them. But in a bantering way, like even now, I grew up with Blue, but I would have. I said last year I would have liked Liverpool to win the league last year because it was City or Liverpool. I'd rather Liverpool win it than Manchester win it. And what it'll do for the city. I know there's a lot of people struggling in the city, especially now. But like there's a lot of homeless there, and there's a lot of poverty there still. I'd like to like that, bring a bit of money into this. Good for a place like Liverpool, I think.
Yeah. Did you have a pre-match superstition?
I'd always get up for breakfast, eat a proper breakfast, eat the sort of same things. You'd always eat the same things. Like I always have porridge and beans on toast and eggs. And then when I got in the changing room, I'd always pour half a can of Red Bull, a full can of Red Bull in a bottle of water to take the fizz out of it. So it'll be like pure caffeine. So I'd have two of those. Then I'd have a can't remember the name of it now. It was a caffeine sort of drink, but it was the equivalent of like 10 Red Bulls. So I had one of them. Then I had Pro Plus, so it'll be caffeine in that, but not going into it. I put the music on. So me and Houthi at Stoke, we used to have the same sort of music, and everyone hated us for it. And we put our music, go in, do the normal routine, and always have the same routine of stretching before I go out and bit of gym stuff.
Yeah.
And then go out, and that was my sort of routine. So any superstitions, that was it. Apart from that, there was nothing like the night before or anything like that. No.
Do you have like a favorite quote or a favorite saying?
Quote. So I said to you the other day in a message, didn't I? You need to get on Goggins, David Goggins.
Yes, David Goggins.
When you listen to it, you'll know what I mean. He has a good one. Be uncommon amongst uncommon people, which meaning like the uncommon people is like the sort of top 1% of sporting people. If you can be uncommon amongst those uncommon people, then you know be that person. And I think that's a great quote because
definitely
to be in the top 1% of something like that and be uncommon, and you'll know exactly what I mean. If anyone, people who listen to this, get on his audiobook as well. I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast quite a lot, and he was on there, and it's like struck something with me. Yeah. And he has an unbelievable story, and what he's done with his, he's the only person in America that's been through so many different things in the military, and he's running like 130-mile races now, absolutely ridiculous, and where he can push his body to. So he's definitely one to have a look at.
Yes. Who's your favourite sports person?
I think growing up, I grew up.
Now, before you answer, I know it's not Roy Keane.
No, you're right about that. No, you're right. To be fair, growing up, I was in the Everton. I grew up with the Everton team when they won the FA Cup, and you know that team. It was all old school players, and I loved them. But I was never one to idolise. I used to look at like Alan Shearer as a striker for growing up. You know, it was around the time the Premier League just started. I was just growing up. We all did. So I was 8, I got an 83, like 95, Blackburn won it, and it was when the Premier League was just starting. I loved it, but I never really had one person. I used to love Duncan Ferguson at Everton just because of the way he was, and he's there now, and people like that. But I never really had one that I'd idolised. Like a lot of people now, it's like Messi or Ronaldo, isn't it? A lot of young kids, it's the same sort of people. But growing up, I was just never really had one individual.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Well, Johnathan, it was brilliant to have you on the PaddyCast. Thanks for taking your time out and speaking to me. And I wish you and your family a safe time during the current conditions.
Cheers, pal, and you hope it all goes well. And doing well, pal. So I hope it all. Thanks for having me on, and I hope it all goes very well for you.
Brilliant, mate. Happy.
Stop, man.